Hey everyone, so we're going to do the boy tutorial here. Stage 1 has already been done for you, all the lines are drawn here for you. We're going to start with stage 2. So let's make sure that all of our layers are locked so that we can work on one layer at a time. If you still see this pencil sketch in the background, you can turn that off. And we're going to start with the face layer, so let's turn the rest of these off so we can focus on the face. We're going to create a gradient mesh, which we'll use to apply color to the main part of the face. So let's unlock the face, activate it, and we're ready to work with it. We're going to go up to Object, Create Gradient Mesh. The instructions say to set it to 10 rows and 5 columns. I've set mine to the 10 rows but 8 columns, because if you see later on in the tutorial, more are added. So I'm just going to make it easier and start with 8. Hit OK, and we've got our mesh. To use this, we're going to need the mesh tool. So if you come over here to your gradient tool, click it, hold, and there's your mesh tool. And this is the tool that can activate the different points on your mesh. You can see you can use it to move points, and you can also use it to color points, and that's what we're going to do now. If you hover over it, you can see mesh tool and then the letter U. U is the keyboard shortcut for this, and you're going to want to use it. Below you can see the eyedropper tool, and next to the word eyedropper you see the key I. So this is easier if you can toggle back and forth with your keys instead of having to click, come over and click, come over and click, come over and click. You can just use your mouse with one hand and hit your keyboard shortcuts with the other. It'll make it faster. So to apply color to your mesh, use the Gradient Mesh tool in the toolbox and select a point in the mesh as shown below. Go to the swatches and choose your color. I'm using the Art and Illustration swatch. It's got these orange colors and the blue colors that the basic tutorial uses. If you want your guy to have some kind of flesh tone, we've got those here. If you want him to be an alien, there's some other colors here. Just keep it to basic colors instead of patterns so that the professor can see that you understood the instructions. As you select the color, it appears softly around the point on the mesh you selected. So let's take a look. I'm going to stick pretty close to the tutorial colors so it's easier to follow along. So I'm going to stick with these colors in the top here. So I've got my mesh tool. I'm going to come over here and select a point 1, 2, 3 up. And you can see that this point is turning white when I'm hovering over it. Sometimes it'll turn white a little bit early. Sometimes if you're right on top of it, it won't even work. So watch the point, and when it turns white, it's ready to be activated with a click. You can see that it's activated now because all these little points from the handlebars are activated around it. So whatever I do with color now, it's going to start with this point and be a gradient out into white or clear. So I can choose any color, and you can see it's creating a gradient. This looks pretty close. Now if I'm going back and forth to fill all of these points, I can click, come over here and click, come over here and click, come over here and click. I can also click the next point to activate it, choose the eyedropper tool, and say I want the same color. You want to stay pretty close to the center here because if you select out here, you're going to get a much lighter color. So you come in and you select, and it'll add it. Mesh tool, point tool, eyedropper tool, click. Now look how much easier it is to use the keyboard shortcuts. Instead of coming back up here and selecting again, I'm just going to hit the letter U. And it puts me back to the gradient mesh. I can select, click the letter I, eyedropper tool, pick my color, letter U, select, letter I, select, letter U, select. I can come over and choose a different color, select another point, letter I, select, letter U, select, letter I, select, letter U, and so on. Choose a different color if you like. So you can see Professor brought it to about here. You can see different kind of shadow areas, different highlight areas, highlights down here on the chin. So you're going to want to hit every point to make that face happen. There's a forehead and a hair area up here that you don't need to worry about right now. We're just doing the face. When you're over here working on it, you can zoom in, and as long as you're holding the mouse down on the zoom, you can see what it looks like without the mesh over it. So just hold still. You can tell what's been colored and what has not. Let the mouse go, and you can work on those points. You want to make sure that all of these points get filled. So I'm going to let you work on that. You should get to something similar to this using these colors or your own if you want, and then we'll move on to the next stage in the next video.